We're here live in St. Peter's Square on the final day that pilgrims can make their way through St. Peter's Basilica behind me and pay their last respects to Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI. Over the last 3 days, 150,000 people from around the world have made their way to Rome and made their way through St. Peter's Basilica to pay their final respects to the late Pope. With me today are some of these pilgrims, and could you guys just tell me your names, where you're from?
Francho.
And where are you from?
Argentina.
What's your name?
Marcos.
Marcos.
Gabriel.
Gabriel.
Mateo, and I'm from Argentina.
Cool.
Okay, Anna from Argentina too.
And can you tell us just a little bit about what the experience was like going through St. Peter's Basilica?
Well, I'm Juan from Argentina. I'm the father of the Argentinian people here. It was a nice experience. We have been here with our Peruvian friends when Benedict XVI was elected many years ago, 18 years ago, and now we are all together as a family, as two families, visiting her tomb. So we are very happy to be here. Of course, it's not a great moment. But tomorrow we will be here also with Argentinian Pope, with Francisco.
And I think that's what's really amazing about this experience is that obviously it's a sad experience as Pope Emeritus Benedict has passed away, but in the same way it's also an experience bringing people of faith together in Rome to appreciate and to celebrate the life of this great Pope. Have you read any of his works? You said you were here for his election or his ordination in 2013, was it?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about that experience?
Yeah, in this moment we are studying here at the Lateran University, both families, Anita, Rafael, that they are from Peru, and my wife Anna and me. And in the election was a great moment, and we studied his books, his memories, and all his doctrine. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thanks.
And what's your name?
Justina from Argentina too.
And what did you think of the experience walking through St. Peter's Basilica?
It was amazing all together, like joining to go here, and we feel like so touching. Like he was like all the people in Rome, a beautiful city here, and I think it was beautiful.
Is this your first time in Rome?
No, my second.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
And what's your name?
Ana Maria.
And you obviously were here, as was said before, for the Pope Benedict's election in 2013, or 2005. Sorry, 2005. Can you tell us a bit about that experience for you?
No, yes, this experience is very, very excited for us, because many years ago, when Pope Benedict was elected, we are only fourth. And in this time, we are 11. Yes. And it's a very special for us. Yes.
And it is really amazing. There's a great family of all of them here together in Rome. They were here at Pope Benedict's election in 2005, and here they are again to celebrate the life of Pope Benedict, to pay their final respects to Pope Benedict in St. Peter's Basilica behind me. And welcome all to Rome, and I trust you'll be at the funeral tomorrow. But it's great to meet you all, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Amazing. And so we're still live here with Rudolf Gehrig, EWTN's German correspondent.
Yeah, I already apologized to these Argentinian people because 2014 we won the championship, and they told the world championship, and they told me that it still hurts, but it's amazing to see these, even the young people, this long way to Rome just to say farewell to Pope Benedict. It's great.
It really is. And did you get a chance yet to go through St. Peter's Basilica and pay your final respects?
Yes, yesterday. We've been here since even 3 days before the Pope died, but finally yesterday I got the chance because we were very busy. I also discovered another colleague of ours, Elias Türk.
Ah, cool.
Would you mind to bring him in and just?
Elias, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
And how have these days been for you? I know it's very solemn, it's very serious, it's very hard to sort of process the passing of Pope Benedict, but also it's a time of celebration of his life. And you have been in Rome for a long time, you've studied here. What has been your impression of Pope Benedict and the passing and the past few days here in Rome?
Yes, as you already said, I've been here for a very long time now. I was at his last general audience in the piazza here in 2013, sorry, when he resigned in February. I participated also in Beirut at his mass in his last trip in Beirut. Pope Benedict was really important for us also as Lebanese, as Middle Eastern Christians, because he gave to the Middle Eastern Christians also an apostolic exhortation, the church in the Middle East. So it is very important to us, and with his passing we are all very sad. I personally had a lot of articles to write in the last 5 days, so I didn't have enough time to reflect on Pope Benedict's magisterium and his teachings, but it is a very sad moment for all of us and for me personally, yes.
It really is. Well, Elias, I'm not going to hold you back from going on to keep writing your articles, and thank you for all your work. Elias is our Achimina correspondent. He is from Lebanon and writes in Arabic for all the Arabic-speaking people in the world. So thank you, Elias, for all the work you do for us. And we're here again with Rudolf.
Yeah.
Rudolf, I know that as soon as we heard of the news of Pope Benedict's passing, you, myself, and some of our colleagues came down here to St. Peter's Square behind us and started doing live broadcasts immediately.
Yeah, we can show them.
We can definitely show them, yeah. And as you come along, you can see on this side of us a large platform that's been set up for all of EWTN's broadcasts.
Cardinal Wölki is here,
That's
German
right.
German cardinal. Yeah, but now, yeah.
And at 6:30 p.m. tonight, we'll be going live, or 6 o'clock tonight, actually, we'll be going live with EWTN. Again, we went live last night with Cardinal Dolan and Cardinal Pell, and we'll be going live again tonight. And of course, tomorrow morning, starting at 8:30 for the 9:30 funeral for Pope Benedict. And of course, as we said, it is a very solemn moment here in Rome. And Rudolf, can you just reflect a bit on what the last few days have been like for you? Where did you hear the news of Pope Benedict's passing?
I was sitting in the famous Roman metro, which is sometimes a little bit chaotic and not the best place to reflect that such a huge giant of the theology, such a huge giant of the church just passed. I was here with my cousin and his wife, and I wanted to show them the Colosseum, the famous Colosseum here in Rome. And right in that moment, our colleagues wrote in our group, so Pope Benedict just passed. So first thing was, please, Lord, give me some internet connection. So I checked twice on the Vatican website and said, oh no, really? Then I have to organize everything. I told my cousin the way. Then I called my wife and said, please bring my nice-looking black suit and my black tie to the office. I ran to the office, and the colleagues, I was very surprised, I was very amazed. Our colleagues were already there and preparing for this live broadcast. And also you've been faster than me here. But maybe let me admit this, we are professionals, at least we try. After this rough and fast organizing, after everything was organized, I had 3 minutes in the metro. I was standing there, and finally realized, Pope Benedict died, the German Pope, and I had a special relationship to him, not just because he's German. And then I started crying a little bit. So I thought, oh, nobody knows me here, but it was really sad. But then next moment we switched, maybe just like Elias said. So we have to do our work, we have to do our job, but I'm very thankful for that moment that I had to share my feelings or express my feelings.
Yeah, that is a touching moment. And I think Pope Benedict, even though many of us didn't ever meet him personally, but through his writings, through just what we knew of him from hearing other people's stories of him, we gained a real appreciation for him. And you yourself are German. You come from a similar area of Germany as Pope Benedict. Does that give a heightened importance to Pope Benedict to you? Does he hold a higher place in your heart because of that?
Exactly. Pope Benedict is from Bavaria, the maybe most famous region in Germany because of Oktoberfest, beer, FC Bayern München, and so on. And I come from a special area of Bavaria, Franconia. We never call ourselves Bavarians. We say we are occupied by the Bavarians. And it took a long time since I work here in Rome to explain to everyone that I'm not a Bavarian, but this time I make an exception and say, okay, Pope Benedict is Bavarian, I'm also Bavarian. Yes, of course there's this connection, but the other thing is I've always been Catholic, and during I was a pupil at school. He was the rock. Saint Peter was the rock, and for me Pope Benedict also was the rock. So of course at school there's a lot of bullying, and I also got a lot of mean comments from my colleagues, from my pupils, and so I always had this big guy, this big theologian with this small in this small person. he's big in a spiritual way, and yeah, it was always nice to have him here in Rome. So something is missing now.
For sure. And I think, I mean, I've read some of the works of Pope Benedict. I've read some of his writings, and you can really grasp, like, there's something special about his theology. There's a real depth to it, but it's also very easy to read. It's very approachable. It's not hard or philosophical at all. And I think that there's been much talk of him being named a Doctor of the Church. Whether that happens, who knows? It probably won't happen in our lifetime. But I think that his theology will definitely live out long into the future, and probably will be his lasting legacy.
Yes, that's the point, and we still don't have, we still don't understood everything of his big opus that he gave to the world. For me, you say it's very easy to read. When I was younger, I thought, wow, Benedict, wow, that's rough. So the theologian Ratzinger was very tough to read for me, but I have to admit, I tried to study theology. I was at university for a few years, and I had to read some other theologians, and I won't mention the names, but I read this and said, wow, that's boring. That's very complicated. Then I went back to my bookshelf and found my old Ratzinger books and said, let's give him a second try. I said, okay, compared to these guys, wow, Ratzinger is not just very rational and very logic, he's also very poetic. So he's an artist with language, and that was interesting for me. That this guy who is always described as I think even in the English-speaking world, God's Rottweiler, so this bad dog, this guardian, and then you have a guy writing about God like he really still is in love with this God, and that really that made a big impact to me.
He's definitely a very beautiful writer, and he's very beautiful to read his writings. Could you just pick out a few moments of his writings, his theology, that you could explain to us and talk about briefly?
So the maybe most impressive thing for me was, of course, his Jesus trilogy. I had all the 3 books. There's one, the 2 books of them are very big, and one is about Jesus' childhood. It's small. I always started to read it, but then I was distracted, I interrupted, but then I started to listen to the audiobook, which I really can recommend. So if you want to start with Ratzinger, maybe start with an audiobook. You can walk around and just listen to him. And in one of this big book, I still can mention one sentence. So I read everything, but this one sentence really touched me, and it was so. Ratzinger asks, what did Jesus bring to this world? Then he brings some theories. It wasn't world peace, it wasn't this. What did Jesus bring? Or what did God bring to this world? Yeah, he brought himself. It's not very high theology, but in that moment I read this, I was, oh wow, I should think about that twice.
That's really good. Well, thank you, Rudolf, and thanks a lot for all of you for joining us. And remember that EWTN will be live starting at 6 o'clock on our platform up there. And then, of course, tomorrow morning, starting at 8:30 for the 9:30 funeral of Pope Benedict XVI. We will be going live from there as well. Thank you all again for joining us, and prayers and thoughts, especially for the late Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI. Thank you from Rome, and goodbye.